Hello, my queens. Hello, my kings. Hello, my brothers and sisters. I hope all is well with you. Thank you for checking your sister out. For those who are new checking me out, please know there are no coincidences. I thank you for checking me out. And peace and love to you all. Before I get started, I want to give all honor to the Most High God, the true living God, Yahweh. All right? And I'm going to try to get to the point. All right, family? I'm not sure what I'm going to call this video. It's pretty much like a little testimony of mine. I try to speak from that place of my experience, my testimony, because I know that's the only way you can reach people. People can recognize real, and I know I can. All right. And so with that being said, and I'm also making this video also because I know that somebody needs to hear it. All right. Who doesn't? And may you receive this message in love. All right. And please know that your sister is never coming from a place of judging you. All right. I'm just here to share my love and my light with you, that the truth that you hear from the words that are coming out of my mouth, may it get in your spirit, and may you use these nuggets for your highest good. All right. To whomever that needs to hear it. And I thank you. Before I get started, I want to read a quick verse real quick. All right. It's Deuteronomy chapter 5, and I'm going to read verse 9 to verse 10, and then I'm going to get to the point. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them, for I am the Lord your God. I'm a jealous God, visiting the iniquities of the father upon the children to the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. Verse 10, and showing mercy to thousands of them that loves me and keeps my commandments. I'm going to read that again. And showing mercy to thousands of them that loves me and keeps my commandments. All right. And it's also written, because I've seen it, I forgot exactly where it's at, but it said, if you love me, you will keep my commandment. And so anyway, that's one of the, that's in Deuteronomy chapter 5, where, the Most High God is speaking of the 10 Commandments. And but before he gets into the 10 Commandments, that's one of the verses. I want to share something with you, family. And the only reason I'm putting myself out there a little bit is because I know that I'm not the only one. I know that I haven't always been saved, all right? I know as well that when I fall, I know to get back up. And when I sin in any way, I know to repent, all right? And turn from that, because the Most High God, he who see you in secret rewards you openly. According to the word, it says, whom the Lord loves, he corrects. And also, according to the word, there is no condemnation to them who are in Christ Jesus. All right, Yeshua. Family, when I was younger, looking back on my life, it is nobody but the Most High God that, looking back on my life, that just brought me out. That's all I can say. He brought me out. I'm going to pretty much speak about generational curses, all right? I know I didn't say that before, but that's pretty much what I want to talk about, generational curses, all right? Now, please know, your sister don't know everything, all right? I only speak from that place of experience and my testimony, all right? And because I know somebody needs to hear it, and many of you can relate to what your sister is saying. You get it. We can all look at our own family tree, and due to things we've heard about our own family, as far as our, family tree. I just see it like that. Um, you know how, you can look at your aunt, look at your grandmother, or your great grandmother, or your uncle, your cousins, and you see things in them, especially if you're someone now who has cleaned up they have cleaned up their life, and you're looking back. You will understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. So let me just get to the point. When it comes to generational curses, I think about that verse right there, all right? How the Lord said he's showing mercy to thousands of them that loves him and keeping his commandment. Due to the fact of generational curses, it's really due to sin, family. And sometimes, you know, uh, when you have family members, all right, that were here before you, when they were not honoring, the Most High God, when they were living any kind of way, all right, they was not fearing Him whatsoever. Some of them might be into witchcraft. Some of them might have, you know, um, living any kind of ungodly way, should I say. Just sinning, period, all right, and not repenting and having children, and of course, the children, they suffer because due to the sins of their forefathers, or their grandparents or their parents, you know, you will notice that children will end up falling behind them. Well, I'm saying not following, but picking up their bad habits, their bad ways, or even their lifestyle, due to the things children have seen in the home, thinking it's okay because mama doing it, well, daddy's doing it, well, my uncle is doing it, you know. So you get what I'm going with this. So a lot of times children are innocent, but, due to the fact of their environment, that's what shapes them, all right? And you notice things repeat themselves. Mama had her child at a young age, and then that child, ended up having her child at a young age, and it's like an endless cycle. Granddaddy went to prison. His son ended up going to prison. You get what I'm going with this, you know. But the point I'm trying to make is getting back to me. Um, I grew up in a household to where, I had lived with my grandmother. That's all I knew was just my grandmother, as well as my mother in the home. We were a close-knit family. And as I was coming up, definitely in the early years, my mother was definitely still living with her mother in the household, because my mother and my uncle, they had the house in their name, but we always said it was grandma's house, And so I pretty much lived in the house with my uncle, my mom, and my grandmother, and me and my brother. We had the same mother. We shared the same room as children. Eventually, he ended up moving out because it is not good for siblings to keep sharing the same room. When they start getting older, especially if they're the opposite sex. So anyway, but during the earlier years, I remember, my grandmother, she would drink like a Salem on the weekends, and even during the weekdays sometimes, she have her little drink when she get out from work. I remember, I had an uncle, that had a interesting lifestyle. I never saw him with a woman whatsoever, and I'm a child, growing up seeing these things, but I loved him and accepted him for who he was, because he was like a father to me. Whatever I needed, all I had to do was just go to my uncle. He was always there for me. So I loved him unconditionally, no matter what. I had a aunt that would come and visit, and a lot of times stay with us. And she was pretty much, if she wasn't with a woman, she was with a man, kind of back and forth. So I'm growing up seeing all of this, and my family. My mom had like 3 sisters, and they were known to party on the weekends, and you seen your family members partying all the time and drinking, so-called fellowshipping with each other, drinking and having company over. And this is pretty much what I was accustomed to seeing. And so anyway, the point I'm trying to make is, oh yeah, and also as far as the women in my family, my mom, I never really ever seen her with many men. Other than with my father, she was with another man, and she was with him for many years, but she wasn't married. So I'm growing up seeing this, thinking, this is normal to be with someone for a long time and not marry them. As far as I had an aunt. She go from man to man. It seemed like every season, but I probably, well, I guess that's not nice to say, but I would see her with many mans. I probably say maybe every 3 years is always a different man. And as a child, you seen all of this, you taking all of this in, and her motto was she didn't want to be alone, and she's going to help her man. That's her motto, and I loved her for her. Like I said, these are adults. They're in your family. You love them for who they are, because that's one thing about family. Family loves you for who you are, and you don't have to worry about being judged by family. And like I say, it's the village that's shaping a child. The child is being raised within it, shall I say. So anyway, this generational curse, as you see, God, that's exactly what it is. This was going on even when they were coming up. It's like a cycle. It's always a cycle with sexuality. It's a cycle with drinking. It's a cycle with the women in my family, as far as them. And even when they were married, the marriage didn't last long. My mom, her first husband, he died when he was in service, so that's why that's what ended my mom. Well, that's what happened with her marriage. Her husband passed away, but my aunt was married, and that didn't last long. So from there, it was like, from one man to the next. And my aunt, it seemed like she couldn't keep a man. So you get what I'm going with this family. So a child is growing up seeing all of this. You can imagine how it can affect them. They may not talk about it, but this is what they're seeing, all right? But one of the things that really affected me real bad, the fact that my dad was not in the household, and I would see him. He would come and visit me, but he wasn't there. And that can really damage a child, whether even if it's a male child. But when it comes to the female, they really need that male presence there. They need that father hug, giving them hugs, letting them know you are a queen, I love you. That they need that fatherly, cause that's the first man, that's your first love anyway, is your father. And like I said, I've had my issues with my father, but I've come to that place of forgiving him, because I love him. And so, but I still had issues with that, as far as males, wanting to be accepted and not being myself, trying to be something that I wasn't. And I got to the point where if one relationship didn't work out, instead of me taking my time and just praying for the right man to come along, I was finding myself, whatever person that showed interest in me, I would just start talking to them. Of course, I had to be attracted to them, of course. But, one should not rush. And I was doing a whole lot of rushing, just for the sake of not wanting to be alone, shall I say. So you get what I'm going with this, my sister. You get where I'm going with this, my brothers. But still operating in sin due to fornicating, all right? And the whole time I was going to church, all right? And but I wasn't being convicted when I was in church, as far as wanting to do the right thing. I'm so grateful the Most High God didn't take me out in my earlier years, because I wasn't right whatsoever. I was still rebelling against the Most High God. I wasn't reading the word as I should, and I definitely wasn't being doers of the word. So as far as me looking back on my family, as far as in the past, they were rebellion big time, being very rebellious, and moving ahead in my life. I got to that place of being sick and tired and I did not want to continue a generational curse, all right? Because I have children of my own, And I definitely had that talk with the Most High God. I said, you know what? It ends right here, and it ends with me. I do not want to continue. I never really been a drinker, but I would still drink occasionally. But still, I didn't want to create no habit of being a drinker. I said it ends with me with the drinking. It ends with me fornicating. It ends with me, just not seeking you like I should. I'm going to get in the Word, and I'm going to exercise the Word, which is something a lot of my family members were not doing. A lot of them weren't even hardly going to church. But I know a lot of them wasn't hardly reading the Word because it changes you. It just supernaturally changes you as within, so without. You get in the Word, you start reading it, all of a sudden you start to change, and the things you used to do, you don't do no more. And that's what the Word has done for me. And you know, I just had to get to that place of saying, Lord, you know, not just be lip service, saying, oh Lord, I love you, but I'm not doing what He's telling me to do. I'm not being obedient, because the Word says obedience is better than sacrifice. I'm not doing what He tells me to do. So I wanted to get to the place of really honoring the Most High God, really loving Him enough to do what He tells me to do. And that is keep my temple clean, because according to the Word, the temple, our body is the Lord's temple, all right? And we got to keep it clean. But He is holy. We got to keep our body clean and keep it holy as well. And that's one of the ways that He will do wonderful signs through you. The temple must be clean, family. Now let me say this real quick. Even when a person comes into their so-called spiritual awakening, or the spiritual eyes even start to open, and they might be at a place where, at that moment their temple is still not clean. What can happen to you, which is what had happened to me. I'm gonna say now, it's been 2.5 years ago. You can, be seeing through your spiritual eyes, but you are seeing the lower levels, and you're seeing dark things, that really scare the heebie-jeebies out of you. But that's where you are in the Most High God's eyes. That's where you are, because you have not cleaned your temple. You're not honoring the Most High God. When you start honoring Him, and you're in the Word, you're seeking Him diligently, and you're meditating on His Word day and night like He says. You get what I'm going with this, family? You're honoring Him by doing what He's telling you to do. You are, instead of being readers of the Word, you are being doers of the Word. Like I said, He see everything we do. I can talk here to Him blue in the face, but He still see everything that I do. That's honoring Him by keeping His commandments, doing what He tells us to do, all right? And I look back on my life, I wasn't honoring Him whatsoever. Not whatsoever, but I was saying I love God. I love the Most High God, whom I've never seen. Even the Word tells you that. How can you hate your brother? How can you hate your brother and you say you love me, whom you've not seen? My family that I love very dearly, and I love everybody unconditionally. But my family members, some of them got their act together, and a lot of them have not. But you know what? I still love them where they are, because the Most High God still loves them. And people could change anytime. But tomorrow ain't promised to nobody. People can change anytime. I had one dear cousin. I was letting her know how I have changed. And this was like a year ago, I think. And I didn't really tell her everything that's going on with me, because we haven't been close like that. But eventually I will, once we start back to talking again. I pray we get to that point again. But, I was letting her know how I stopped fornicating, and I'm keeping my temple clean because I want what I never had. And she said, you know what, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. She said, but you know what, I'm not there yet. And you know what, family? I still love her. And I'm praying for her, but I still love her, because at least she's being honest. If you're not there yet, you're not there yet. But the thing is, none of us know when our time is up. And the Most High God is so good and so merciful. But, according to the Word, whom the Lord loves, He corrects. And one has to get to that place to I mean, to have some self-love about yourself, to want what you never had, you know. And you know how your family history is, their background, as far as, you know, what they are into, you know, how you got a lot of them want to party, stay up all night in the club, you know, out in the street. You know how your family is. You know, but it can become an endless cycle. It repeats itself. But it has to stop with you. It has to stop with you. And I say, this is going to stop with me. This is going to stop with me. I didn't want to continue that endless cycle of being rebellious to the Most High God. I didn't want that. I have my children to think about. Now, their choices in life is going to be their choices, and I'm going to love them unconditionally, and I'm going to be there for them. But they're going to see how their mother carried herself, how she loved herself, how she respects herself. And I said, Lord, this generational curse stops with me. It ends with me. And I believe that by faith, that the things I've seen coming up, they won't be seeing it in this family, as far as this close-knit family inside this home. They won't be seeing that. They would not be seeing that. And what they see out there in the street, that's a whole other ball game. But it starts at home. The words say, train up a child in the way they should go, so when they get older, they won't depart. It starts at home. I am a queen. I am who I say I am. So family, I just want to share this with you because, you know, it can be a struggle, especially when you're used to seeing certain things and, you know, you find yourself repeating history, shall I say, based on, you know, generational curse, you know, generational routine, whatever. But it doesn't have to continue. It can stop with you. It's all a matter of choice. Sin is a matter of choice. Everything's a matter of choice. It's a matter of you, you know, taking control of your flesh instead of letting your flesh take control of you. Everything's a matter of choice. It is possible to overcome, you know, being so fleshly, being so worldly. You know, it is possible. With God, all things are possible. And the Word, getting in the Word, it really helps build your inner man. It gives you strength. It really gives you strength. And before you know it, the things you used to do, you don't care for doing it anymore. All of a sudden, you know, your thoughts are changing and you're thinking differently the way you used to think. And people see it. They see this in you. They see it. And all of a sudden, also, you start having a little glow to yourself. Because before you were wallowing in mud, and that mud felt good. Oh, mud feels real good when you're wallowing in it. It's all warm and muddy. But when you take the time to step out of that mud puddle and you take a good old shower and clean your whole body up, the thought of that mud, you don't want to go back to it. You don't want to go back to it because you know what it felt like. And you also know what it feels like to be clean. It's a good feeling. So anyway, I just want to share that with you, family, because I feel like somebody needs to hear it. As you see, your sister is human. You know, I have my struggles, my daily struggles. But I pray about everything. Even the words say pray about everything. You know, when I have that urge, I'm human too. When I have that urge and I'm like, oh, it's been a while since I've been touched. I ain't been with a man. Oh, it's been a while. You know what? I think back on all of that and I say, you know what? Going back to that mud for what? I'm not even married. Did any of all of that put a ring on my finger? No. All I was doing just pleasing the flesh for temporary pleasure. Just doing what I want to do, which didn't get me anywhere. May this message be a blessing to the little queens that are watching me, that are younger than me. May it give you something to think about. Please know you're not lesser than a woman out here in the streets, letting people pimp you, out here in the club looking. You're not less than a woman if you're not out there in the streets. You can be at home, you know, go out, have a good time, but come back in at a decent time. Keep your legs closed. Pray and wait for the right person to come along. And most importantly, give the Most High God your time and get in the Word. To get what you never had, you got to do what you've never done. Peace and love, my queens, my kings. And bye for now. The generational curse, it stops right here.